Hey, what's up, guys? I saw a comment on my last video. One of you guys commented if it's time to make a new video. And so I've been meaning to make a video for some time, and I was making some good moves in the market, which I'll get into in a second, until this whole fiasco happened with FTX. And pretty much this video is going to be to recalibrate exactly what I'm going to be doing with this portfolio slash life, what's my plans going forward, because this pretty much I think is like kind of ruined my entire overall plan that I had, to be honest. And I'm just trying to be realistic and really not trying to leave the space. And I'm gonna go through my thoughts and in this video exactly how I proceed or plan to proceed forward. So first and foremost, I opened up a few things from my wallet. Now this wallet is in my old computer, which is right there, and I don't have this in this MetaMask, so I was just gonna go through it with it and kind of catch this video up to speed on what are the things that's happened before FTX. So this is pretty much in the period of I'm gonna be talking about how I doubled my money in a bear market in a span of, I mean, I guess you could say 6 months, but a lot of it happened within just like about a couple of weeks, like 3 weeks. I made some really good moves, and things were going well, which I was starting to be really proud of. I felt like I was finally, onto something in this entire crypto journey where I felt like I was finally like one step ahead of the market. So let me show you what I mean. This is probably like around this, somewhere around here, like around from October till November, around about a month, right? Maybe like mid October to November, I made some moves that pretty much, I think about, if it's not double, about 70% increase in my account. So this is how I did it. First of all, I was just going through the transactions because I can't really remember all the stuff, but I just wanted to point out a few of the big ones. For example, I bought this thing called DAM. Where is it? True. So V2. There. BDAMM. Okay. So this was shout out to Res on Twitter. He went down the rabbit hole, did the research for this, and this was one of the projects that I got into, like literally when it was like about 5-6 cents. Bonded dam, and you can look into it. I'm not gonna go into all the stuff about what this project was, but basically, he started mentioning, I think like not here, but I think somewhere from here to here. Now I didn't get in when it was like 25 cents. I got in around this price point. I think like maybe a little better. I'm not sure exactly, but I got like a solid a bit more than a 2x on this. I sold it around like pretty much the top, and I completely got out. It wasn't a big part of it. I think I put in like it wasn't a big position, but this is an example I'm giving of the type of moves I was able to make, about like 3 or 4 of them, right? One of them was this, another one was with I think Hop Protocol, and then the other one was I mean, a few good trades back and forth with ETH. I mean, this is with ETH I've been showing over time, as it gets to like around 1,000 to 1,200, and then goes to around 1,500, 1,600. I don't get the bottoms, I don't get the tops, but I've been selling in and out with a little bit more volume, anywhere from ten to $50,000, and I did that multiple times. And overall, I got from what was about $200,000 of my portfolio to around 420K, roughly. Actually, it was like 420 on the dot at one point where I took a screenshot. I was like, oh man, this is so cool. It's 420K I got during the bear market. And, obviously that's a cool number and whatnot. And long story short, I didn't want to take too much time to go through that, because obviously now, after what happened, all the things that happened in the past, it just got wiped. All the returns got wiped, and to the point where now it doesn't even feel fun anymore to talk about that stuff as like it was a win and I did well or whatever. I bought some NFTs. I sold my NFTs at like a local top and then bought back in with a couple of ones and then sold on top of again. Basically, I was getting into the rhythm, right? I was starting to follow Twitter, keeping my eye out, and actually taking action. A lot of times, what I realize is that sometimes I do know what is kind of going on, and I feel like, oh, this seems like a pretty good, relatively low risk. I can put a little bit of money and, probably get an exit as soon as it gets maybe like, 30, 40% up or something. And a lot of times you do get it, right? If you're really on top of your stuff. And I used to not just take the action. So this time I started to just take the action. Anytime I felt like this could be something, I went in with a decent, not big part my portfolio, maybe like around like I don't know, what is it, like about 10K max I would put in and turn that into a quick 15 to 20K with these kind of moves, except the moves with Ether and some of the large caps, which I put like 50 to 70K at each time at least, and then got a bigger percentage. That's how that's actually responsible for more of the part that got to the 2x. So I have a picture, not exactly at a, yeah, I don't have it at 420, but I have a 408K portfolio snapshot on Coinbase not too long ago. I think this was taken November 9th, right? Literally like when the shit's about to go down. And this is what I want to talk about next. If you look at what happened around that time, it really pisses me off every time I even think about it, because literally right around here, okay, from here to here, this is the drop that I had, which I could not swallow, right? Basically what happened was I bought Solana with a significant part of my portfolio on, let me see, let me just show you guys instead of blabbering, because this is important. Let's look at the history. All right, November 7th, where's the big purchase? 30,000 near, Solana near here. Oh no, that's sold. Fuck, am I blind? November 4th. Okay, there we go. November 4th, I bought, yes, size, 10,000 Solana. 10,000 Solana at $31. $310,000 I put in on Solana. And if you guys know my portfolio percentages, this is pretty much the entire Solana that I was looking to get. Where is my portfolio? Here, let me just do 1,000. Here. This is, I made a video, my last video, where I talked about, ways to get to $10 million. This is the whole point, right? And you can see, this is the third one. This is how I believe it can get to, I believe that, or used to believe that Solana would get to $1,000 as my price target over the next couple of years, right? And 10,000 Solana will get you to $10 million, right? So I bit the bullet. At $31, I thought about it a lot and I was like, you know what? Could it go lower? Yes. And how much lower could it go? At the moment, I felt like I went back in Solana's thing and I was like, at the very bottom of the 2021 low cycle, it was around 23. And I did not fuck up. Like I really like thought about it. I was like, okay, $24, $23. It's around 31 right now. We've had a pretty good, significant, drawdown so far, that phase where nothing's really happening, I felt like. And I was like, Shibga, if it goes down to $23, are you going to feel extremely bad? I said, and I thought about it and I was like, I'm probably going to be, a little bit disappointed, but it's okay. I'd rather take the risk of having the missing out, right? I felt like it was more of a risk missing out at the upside than if it was to go down to this point, which I thought was where a lot of the bulls would hold the line, especially with all the stuff going on with Solana, right? So I went ahead and that's how I basically, long story short, made the move and be like, let's go. Let me make this move. We'll see what happens next. No matter what, I believe in this project. And when the bull market comes, I'm going to thank myself because this 300K, let me give it. It's like 70% of my portfolio, and everything else I'm going to fill in after. And what I was planning on doing is start off with the third one because I don't have money enough for 1,000 ETH, right? Start off with Solana, which I do have the money for or had. And then I was going to go to Near next, get 60,000 Near, which is, like around $200,000, right? I was going to work on that next. And then I was going to work on ETH last, right? So it's kind of like a leg up. I didn't want to go so much here, like with, get a heavy position of like more across the risk curve, because I thought that we're probably at a point where you don't really have to find the true gem, so to speak, that's going to 1000x. You could pretty much get projects that's going to 30 to 50x solid, that has a lot of adoption and everything signals you do your due diligence, like I did for Solana, Near, and these kind of things. And I feel like this was where the risk curve laid. Now, obviously, now I'm looking back, I feel fucking retarded because that's not what happened, and everything, like my whole plan crashed. And I guess this is me just bringing up to speed on what I was thinking and how I was going about it. And I wish I made some videos along the way because honestly, I was really starting to be really happy. Like, I was even talking to like, bringing it up in my little, I have like this journal I write in like, once a month, just like overall analysis, what I'm learning and stuff like that. And I was like writing in that I'm like, I finally feel like I'm getting a hang of thing, like where I'm one step ahead of the market, so to speak, right? Usually I'm always chasing it. I'm getting some stuff and running late and, missing this, missing that. And I felt like things slowed down to a point in the bear market was just enough stuff happening between the key people I follow, or was able to get into some projects left, like, not left and right, but multiple times in a row, and I'm like, boom, okay, 2x, boom, 50% boom. And I was, really happy with that. Until this point, which was the FTX fiasco. Now, you can imagine how I was feeling when it was going up, right? I was starting to feel really good. And in fact, what I realized is even early on, when this thing was whole going down, I was so on top of it from the very moment that the first tweet that came out from CZ, where he said that thing, as part of our exit from FTX last year, we're looking to liquidate, blah, blah, blah. And he started talking all this stuff. I felt that this had a magnitude of statement. Like the statement was not just anywhere, right? I don't know much about CZ, but I know that he's not like, I look at wallets. There's not many wallets of good projects that you can find where Binance is not one of the top holders. So I've thought about it before. I'm like, man, Binance is like pretty much low-key might be one of the richest people in the world. Like he might be tied with Elon Musk and stuff. It's stuff I thought before. So given with that understanding, when he started saying those things, I didn't take it lightly. I wasn't just like, oh my God, crypto Twitter. I was like, wow, this is, not good. And I felt the weight of it without even going into crypto Twitter yet, just by looking at that. And soon after that, what did I do? I'm like, all right, like sell the Solana. Worst case scenario, you can buy back in after a little bit of a downfall, whatever. And I might get the timeline a little bit off right here, but there was a slight bit of flip flop during these days, guys, where I didn't sleep for like 3 days. But bear with me. I bought here, which is November 4th, and I sold. Jeez, man, where is it? Okay, sold. No, this is just 500 more buy, 1,000 more buy at 26 when it was going down more, and then buy more, sold, sell, 14. Okay, here, I got the timeline right now. This is why we use exact buy and sells. I was feeling the thing that it was going up, and I was like, all right, take some profit here. I had to find it. So I was selling a little bit here at around 33, right? So bought around like 30, 31, right? That's the big purchase. And I have a bunch of other purchases around 23, 26 at like 1,000 sol, 500 sol, stuff like that. I actually had more than 1,000 sol. I mean, 10,000. It was like around 11,500, 12,000 sol, right? Because I was still buying and selling a little bit. And around here, I started to take some profit. Even though breakpoint is here, even though like, I mean, I was doing good, right? I was taking profit when it was really getting hyped and went up a lot around 38, 37, 30. And I was, I had a little moment right around 38. Literally at the peak, I had this moment where I was just like, oh my God, if this was just like burst up, you're going to feel so silly for taking profits when you've been bullish on it the whole way through. Until then, this downfall happened. No, this one wasn't it. I was watching it here at my break point, and I could have, hindsight 2020, I could have sold it. I was like, but I didn't really think about it. Where I really considered it was here. It was around $27 or $28 when I was like literally staring at the screen and I'm thinking like, this thing is going down with SBF. And I was looking at a few tweets and I asked myself the question even, and this is the stupidest part, guys, because one of the things, I mean, I can go into so much stuff and I'm not going to go into too much of a rant, but one of the things I realized is to ask yourself, when things are going down, something big happening, whether like something bad or good or whatever, some kind of big fiasco, instead of just like, because what used to happen before with me, like especially last year, is like, I would follow some stuff and I would be like, oh my God, this is such a story. And I'd just be like watching it. Where what you're supposed to do is just go at least one step further as a decent human being. When things are unraveling, some kind of thing happening, at least take a moment and just be like, hey, something is breaking out. A news just broke out. Hey, is there any second order consequence of this thing? What could potentially happen, good or bad, from this, what is going on? Is this something I should be worried about? And I asked myself that. And I couldn't bite the bullet because I was down about like, I think 30, 40K, 20, 30K maybe, right? I bought around $310,000. Most of the Solana is around 280K. And I was just like, Shiba, you already did the decision. You thought about it. If it goes to 23, it's fine. Now don't back out. You made a decision. This is how people get messed up. They don't stick to the thesis. And I convinced myself to stick with it. Then this massive drop happened. And then even this massive drop. And with this so far, I was still fine. I was following Few on Twitter really closely. Let me show you guys some of his tweets because he was a key person in my decision making. So Few, as you know, if you've been watching my channel, you know that this guy is really good at I mean just all kinds of shit and trading, timing markets, understanding psychology, all this kind of stuff. And there was a point where he said something that completely broke me. This tweet right here. On November 9th, he said Solana to $1 is not unreasonable. And if you look back his other tweets, he's been getting everything else right. I mean, from the moment CZ said something, he was on alert. He got everything down by down. And when he saw this, given I was glued to the FTT one as well, not that I hold any, and I saw how it went down and I saw the liquidation that happened here. Like I was like, holy fucking balls. When this I was watching all of this, guys. I didn't sleep. And when this happened, I was like, holy shit. And then this tweet came after this. I was like, oh no. No. Can this really die? And I was reading every tweet and I was trying to find out. Some people were saying, is this really possible? Whatever. And like I think one of the people even asked a question that I had, which was like, what about all the partnerships? With this guy, see, with respect, doesn't Sol have real use case with loads of NFTs and other systems running through his blockchain? Would wonder if all the market cap from Alameda funding would really have to dump so hard for $1. Maybe I'm wrong. He said, in a panic with lots of supply yet to hit the market, fundamentals become irrelevant. And he's right. And to be honest, I'm not blaming him. Like, oh my God, he said this. This is why I capitulated. What I'm saying is like, he's correct. It is true. In this kind of scenario of mass hysteria, when there's so much supply yet to be unloaded, all the people afraid who are the holders, with everything that the space has already gone through, nobody likes to hold things for too long. They can capitulate. And with that thought, it's not I lost belief, even for a second. Like, even I didn't think like, oh, Sam going completely to the down, so Solana would get ruined. I didn't think of that. But I did, with this, think about like, holy shit, it could happen where we have a massive capitulation and Solana goes to like literally single digits or maybe even like $3-4, just like FTT did. And I'm literally gonna lose 70% of my portfolio for moves I have made in the last fucking week. And that's when I capitulated. Selling Solana at $14. So I bought it with $310,000 and I sold it at $14.27. So if you do the math, it's roughly about like half the money. I lost about $150,000 of my portfolio. What's sad about this shit is that the number of moves I got right, guys, like, I never like toot my own horn, right? Like I really never get to, honestly. Most of the times I'm barely like sticking on. I'm just like scraping by, doing some stuff. But I really felt like for once I was like, damn, hell yeah, I'm getting this stuff. This is it, Shiba. This is how you're on top of your shit now. Multiple moves back to back during a bear market and you're making profit. Like, one after one after one. You're cautious. You're not FOMOing in. You're buying the dips. You're selling a little bit higher. You're not waiting for tops and bottoms. But all in while, the problem was that I'm playing in a little kiddie pond, right? In the grand scheme of things, I'm just playing around this little teeny weensy here, where the reality is, with a bigger move just like this, can wipe out half of your portfolio. And it's insane when you look at a chart like this, right? You think like, hey, I lost like fuck ton of almost everything down here. Surely, like if you look at it like, let's say 5 years from now, it'll be funny to look at this blip here because, easily the chart could be like this and then like, something huge, massive across the screen, whatever. But the funny part is you can lose pretty much still everything literally during a bear market when everything is so down because things can just keep going more down. And it's not because of stuff we did wrong. It's not because of Solana, like it was a wrong call. Like I didn't do the research. I didn't look into the stuff. Like something was just mistaken. It just fucking happened to be that one of the biggest corn artists of our time has one of the biggest bags in the fucking project that I have the biggest portfolio in. Like, what is the chances this fucking faggot had to put so much money, hold like over $1 billion of Solana, and it is like literally pretty much what I think, in my opinion, still the best project out there. So what now? What are we gonna do? What is it like? It's just scammers gonna mess. What's next, right? Now, okay, crypto.com, now BlockFi, Contagion, and all this stuff. It can go even lower, right? I want it to go lower now because I already capitulated. I'm like, okay, fucking like, I want 10,000 Solana. I want to come out of this bear market with 10,000 Solana. Make no mistake, like that's what I want. I don't care what price I have to pay. Right? If I pay 310K, but now what the problem is, what's like really messing me up is that I'm not into the market, right? I capitulated, I'm waiting for the market, and right around the price point where I capitulated is obviously the price that it keeps on, swerving in. I went down at around $14, and where is it now? $13.82, right? Like literally, I didn't capitulate here, didn't here, I did here, and this is where it happens to be. Go figure. Anyways, what now? What do we do going forward? Guys, I'll be honest, like, No lie, like this feels like fucking shit, right? Like I wish it was because of something I got wrong, right? Like I wish like market was taking off and a Solana just didn't. And because of some tokenomics I missed out, or it just doesn't have like the stuff that I thought has a lot of adoption and it's gonna push a lot of um, um, you know um, price movement did not happen. But it's not the case. And this guy also has some of the bigger positions in something, in the other ecosystems like Aptos and some of the other projects that we're looking at, whatnot, yada yada yada. Okay, so what do we do? All in all, this is what I want to do, man. I think I'm finally sick of it. I learned my lesson, and it's gonna sound basic as hell, but I don't have any other choice other than relying on basically the biggest projects. Fuck it. Just fuck it. I'm done doing all this stuff, making all these moves. 7, 8, 10 moves you could make the right one, but one capitulation move and you just lose pretty much most of your money. It's so stupid. So I'm done with it. I'm getting back to not buying Bitcoin. I'm never gonna buy Bitcoin. Um, but Ethereum. That's it. I have no other choice, and I'm just gonna go into Ethereum. And the reason why I didn't do this is because I just don't have enough money for this, and that's what's gotta change. That's what I realize now, is that I gotta stop being a little bitch, and it sucks because it's so fucking harsh. But I gotta suck it up, and I'm gonna have to make a way to literally make the money, the type of money I need to buy 1,000 ETH. That's it. There's no other easier way I can think of it. For me to guarantee and significantly raise the chances of me getting to $10 million, it's gonna have to be 1,000 ETH. This way or the highway. There's no other fucking way. And how do you do this? Right? I'm gonna have to make a way to make $100,000 to $200,000 per month. This is it. This is what the channel is gonna have to become now. Is not about what to invest in only, not about what to do, but how do I get to a point where I'm making every month, every Friday, minimum 25K deposited into my accounts in income, $25,000 to $50,000 per week, $100,000, $200,000 per month. There is no other fucking way. I can't think of it. I did everything I could, and I just can't do it with this type of market and what's going on. And if there's any future for this space, ETH is gonna get to 10K one day or the other, and I think that's the safest bet I could think of, for lack of better terms, right? I've already talked about it, and I've ignored it, but I can't ignore it anymore. And this current price, it's around $1.2 million I'm gonna be needing. And given that the bear market lasts at least a year or more, I mean, if I'm making, let's say, 100K per month, right, then I could buy roughly, let's say, 50 to, goal should be 75 ETH per month purchase. Obviously, if ETH goes down to like $600 to $800, like many people say it might, that would make things easier. But obviously, I don't think I can wait on that either. So this is it. This is what the thing is going to become. And I'll end with this note. This is why this shit is so hard. During this time that we're in this phase, right? Since I lost a lot of money in the bear market, since last year and stuff like that, I had a sports car and I sold it. It's a Mitsubishi Evo. And I sold it because under the circumstance, like, man, the moves I've made, it's just I don't deserve to drive, anything nice, whatever, blah blah blah, and I just got rid of it. And I don't have a lot of money either, right? Like I did in the bull market. So I'm like, fuck it, let me let go of it. And since I made, some more money back and things are going well overall financially in the bear market, I got accustomed to it. Money I lost in the bull market, I swept it on the rug, start fresh, start new. Had a conversation with myself. I turned 30 years old not too long ago. I was like, shit, like, look, still pretty young, you know. Um, I'm not a lazy fucking guy, right? I'm not I have discipline. I'm not a fucking goldfish. I'm not here being a fat fuck or doing nothing. I like to be of service. I like to work hard. I make plans and I stick to it. I can do shit. So I felt like, all right, let's rebuild this thing, okay? And with this kind of stuff that's happening, the only thing I can bet on is completely myself, right? Like, what is it gonna take for me to increase my income and go about it this way? Anyways, without digressing, this is what I was getting to. Take this to heart, because what I'm talking about is literally the hardest part of this entire game to me. While we're in this space, I was just talking about, I had to buy another car, right? I sold my little sports car like 6 months ago, and I recently bought another car. And, I test drove a Tesla and I fell in love with it. And I was like, man, I know this is not the right move, but I could get this car and it is, amazing. The I don't know what it's called, but it's basically the maxed out one. It's around like $120,000. That the acceleration is insane. Even though the rented car I took, they had the limiter on, assholes, which I couldn't really feel it. But even with the limiter, I felt like the driving experience was nothing unlike nothing else. Anyways, long story short, I bypassed on that. Why? Because I did the math and I realized that, if you were to put in $120,000 in this car right now, given the portfolio you're looking to do, whether it be Solana or ETH, anywhere from 10 to 30 to 50x, you're basically putting over $1 million into this car right now. That's not worth it. Buy a stupid card, which I did, a Ford Fusion for like 20K, and I put rest of the money for the market. Okay. My girlfriend went on a little vacation not too long ago. I gave her a budget for around roughly 20K. She spent a bit more than that, and we had a big fight about, spending so much money. This is not right. You took a little trip. This is way too much. Blah, blah, blah. She went to, Europe for a couple of weeks, whatnot. And had this huge thing, right? Like, what the hell? Like, most people, when they travel, they spend maybe $4,000 or $5,000. You're spending like $25,000 alone, only in a couple of weeks. What the hell? All this kind of stuff. Big fight. Cool. That's going on. When I go and make decisions, even for things like watching the UFC fight, right? I tell myself, hey, don't get the pay-per-view. My brother lives in my country, Bangladesh, and he sends me these links like, hey, this is a way to watch it without having to pay-per-view play. And we have to follow these links and I have to open up all these tabs and stuff like that. Chase it, sometimes it gets taken down. All this fiasco to save $80. The reason why this shit is so hard is when days like this happen, all those decisions you made, the fight with the girlfriend, the not giving yourself the car, the scrambling around to save $80 to not have to pay for pay-per-view for $80, all that shit goes out the window. Because you just made decisions where you lost 150 grand just like that within 3 days of stupid moves you're making in this crypto game. Thinking one day you're gonna be so rich and it's gonna blow up and it's gonna work out and you're gonna get $10 million, which is not guaranteed or anything like that. And you're killing yourself in the meantime because you're sacrificing having fights, not living so much below your means, not driving the car you want, not living the place you want, not eating the things you want, not being able to experience life the way you want, because you're sacrificing all that for the market. And then guess what? You lose fuck ton of money in that market too, and then you feel like an absolute idiot. To yourself, to your family, to your girlfriend, and you feel like you're just lost alone at as this crazy guy, 3 a.m. in the morning, looking at these charts for the second, third, fourth year, whatever it may be, and thinking that one day it's gonna come where things are gonna work out, and that day never does. Until your people around you start to think that you're a little bit crazy. Or like, this guy's just greedy and he thinks of, he's just like any other gambler. This is just a lottery. And it's just like those old folks who are just pressing these buttons in a casino somewhere, lost all ethos and, morality in their head. And that's why it's hard. It's because the fucking sacrifices you make have no distinction and no guarantee that it's one day going to pay off. That's it. I don't have any other way to end this, but I just wanted to finally get this video out and share with you guys what the fuck is happening. And I don't have any good news. But all I can find out is gonna take 90% of my attention off charts, off researching, keep it simple as fuck, bite the bullet, look at the space, look at the biggest, least riskiest things out there, things that just has to 5 to 10x for me to hit my goals of $10 million, and then man up and make a way to make the money, pure cash, by providing value to the economy, and then that's it. Either this works or you don't. Either I'm a fucking loser and I get to this, or I break down and I'm gonna stay broke. Done.